Shalom everyone. In this class we will go over a brief review of Parashat Vayera. Parashat Vayera is the fourth parasha out of 12 parashiot in Humash Bereshit, Genesis. We will go over the headlines first and then we'll go into a little bit more detail. Let's start with the headlines. Abraham welcomes 3 angels into his house. The angels promise Sarah a son and the laughter of Sarah. Hashem informs Abraham about the destruction of Sodom and Abraham attempts to save the city. The arrival of the angels to Sodom and their coming to the house of Lot. The citizens of Sodom want to abuse Lot's guests and they were blinded. Lot's departure from Sodom. Sodom was destroyed and Lot's wife became a pillar of salt. Lot settles in a mountain. His daughters conceive from him and give birth to baby boys. Sarah is taken to Avimelech. Yitzhak is born, exile of Hagar and Ishmael, Avimelech's covenant with Abraham and Abraham settling in Beersheba, the test of the binding/sacrificing Yitzhak, and the last subject is birth of sons of Nahor, Abraham's brother, and the birth of Rivka. Now let's go over the parasha with a little bit more detail. So the parasha starts with Hashem is being revealed to Abraham in the middle of the day. It was hot and Abraham was sitting in the opening of the tent. The commentators say that Abraham was on the 3rd day since he was circumcised, so he was still recovering. Abraham sees 3 passerby, which he later discovers that they were angels. So Abraham runs to them and he begs them to come over to his house and wash their feet and eat bread. They agree and they come into his house and he makes them a nice meal. The angels asked where Sarah is, and they say that in exactly a year from now she'll give birth to a son. The Torah notes that Abraham and Sarah were old and Sarah was laughing. How could it possibly be that she'll give birth to a child at such an age? Hashem was asking Abraham why Sarah was laughing. Hashem is omnipotent and can do anything, and in the end he will see that she'll give birth to a son. Abraham asked Sarah why she was laughing. Sarah was afraid of Abraham, so she denied that she laughed, and Abraham insists and said, yes, you did laugh. Second aliyah, Abraham accompanies the angels on the way to Sodom. They are actually on their way to destroy the city. Hashem says that this is not appropriate, that Abraham would not know what's going to happen to Sodom, so he tells him. Abraham says that it's not fair that the righteous in the city will die because of what the wicked do. So Abraham prays that if he finds 50 righteous people in Sodom, Hashem should not destroy the city. Hashem says fine. Abraham tries to find 50, he can't even find 40, 30, 20, not even 10. So Hashem left and Abraham went back to his home. Third aliyah, the angels arrived to Sodom in the evening. Lot was sitting in the gate of the city. He saw them, he honored them, and he welcomed them into his house to sleep and wash. And he tells them that in the morning they'll continue their way. In the beginning the angels objected. Lot pleaded more and they consented. Lot served them wine and matzot and they ate. Before the angels went to sleep, the citizens of Sodom gathered around Lot's house and they tell Lot to bring his guests out, and they wanted to abuse them in a vile manner. Lot went out to them and he's telling them he's willing to give his daughters just in order for them to not do anything to the guests. The citizens did not agree and they made an attempt to break the door. So the angels brought Lot home and they blinded whoever was outside, and this way they stopped their plan. The angels tell Lot that he has to leave the city, to take all his stuff and family and leave. He goes to tell his sons-in-law and they make fun of him and they are not listening. At dawn, early in the morning, the angels urged Lot to leave the city and escape to the mountain. Lot is asking to flee to a nearby city called Zoar instead of the mountain. Fourth aliyah, the angel is agreeing Lot to flee to the city, and he's telling him although the city was supposed to be destroyed, but because of his request, he's not going to destroy it. Right after that, HaKadosh Baruch Hu destroyed Sodom. Lot's wife looked back and she turned into a pillar of salt. Abraham got up early in the morning and he looked at Sodom and he saw that everything was destroyed and he saw smoke rising up from the city. A little while after, Lot was afraid to stay in the city of Zoar and he goes up to the mountain. He was there along with his 2 daughters. They thought that the world was destroyed and there is no more people, and they said that they have to conceive from their father in order to have continuity. They let their father-in-law drink wine. The first night his oldest daughter was with him, and the second night the younger one, and they both had baby boys from him. The older one called her son Moab, and the younger one called her son Ammon. Abraham continued to wander in the land, and he settled in Gerar. Avimelech, the king of Gerar, took his wife Sarah, because Abraham said that she was his sister. HaKadosh Baruch Hu came to Avimelech in a dream, and he tells them that if he is not returning Sarah, he is going to die, because she is a married woman. Avimelech tells his servants about his dream, and he's angry at Abraham. How could he do such a thing? Abraham answers that he was scared, that they were going to kill him if they would know that they're married. And also he says that she is his sister from his father's side, but not from his mother's side. And the commentaries are saying what exactly Abraham meant by saying that. Whoever wants can look inside. Avimelech gave Abraham gifts and welcomes him to settle in his land. Abraham prays for Avimelech, and Avimelech and the members of his household were healed. Then the Torah says that Sarah got pregnant and she gave birth to a baby boy, and Abraham called him Yitzhak, and he circumcised him. He did his Berit Milah when Yitzhak was 8 days old. Fifth Aliyah, Abraham was 100 years old when Yitzhak was born. On the day that Yitzhak was weaned, when he stopped breastfeeding from his mother, Abraham made a party. Sarah saw Ishmael laughing. Now, there is many explanations what exactly she saw, but the idea is that she saw him behaving improperly. So she tells Abraham to expel Hagar and Ishmael because she did not want Ishmael to inherit with Yitzhak, with her son Yitzhak. Abraham was upset about what Sarah told him, but nevertheless Hashem told him to listen to her. Abraham got up early in the morning and he expelled Hagar and Ishmael from his house. Hagar got lost in the desert and they ran out of water. She threw Ishmael under one of the bushes over there, and she went to sit far so she doesn't see him dying. Hashem listens to the crying of Ishmael. The angel revealed himself to Hagar and he told her, go back to your son, hold his hand because he's going to become a great nation. And suddenly Hashem opened her eyes and she saw that there is a well over there. She went there, she got water, and she gave Ishmael to drink. Hashem was helping Ishmael. He grew up, he settled in the desert of Paran and became a hunter. His mother took him a wife from the land of Egypt. Sixth Aliyah, the people of Gerar saw that HaKadosh Baruch Hu is with Abraham, and they started fearing him. So Avimelech and his army chief came to Abraham and told him that they want to make a covenant with him, that they don't harm each other, and Abraham says that he will swear. Abraham rebukes Avimelech about the well that the servants of Avimelech stole from him. Avimelech is apologizing and he's saying that he did not know about it. Abraham gave sheep to Avimelech and they made the covenant. Besides the sheep that Abraham gave Avimelech for the covenant, he added another extra 7 sheep, and Avimelech was asking what are they for. Abraham answered that he wants Avimelech to take those 7 sheep and they will be like a sign and a testimony that the well that was over there Abraham dug and it belongs to him. Abraham called that well Be'er Shava because of the Shavua, like the swear in Hebrew, that they swore to each other. And Avimelech went back to Eretz Pelishtim, Philistine, and Abraham was sitting in Be'er Shava and he planted an eshel. It's a kind of tree, an important tree that shows that this place was important, and from there he was publicizing the name of Hashem in the world, and he settled in the land of Philistine for many years. Seventh Aliyah, HaKadosh Baruch Hu is testing Abraham. He's telling him to go to Har HaMoriah and to sacrifice his son. Abraham gets up in the morning. He is preparing his donkey. He takes 2 servants with him, and he takes Yitzhak. He takes a firewood, and he is going to the place that Hashem told him to go. On the 3rd day, Abraham sees the place from far. He tells the servants, you stay over here, and he continues with Yitzhak, only them 2 by themselves. On the way, Yitzhak is telling Abraham, we have the fire and we have the wood, but where is the lamb for the offering? So Abraham says that HaKadosh Baruch Hu will provide it. They got to the place, Abraham binded Yitzhak and he put him on the altar, and he is about to slaughter him. The angel of Hashem came to Abraham and told him to stop, and it was only a test. Abraham picks up his eyes and he sees that there is a ram that got tangled in one of the bushes over there with his horns. Abraham ran and took it, and he sacrificed this ram instead of his son. Then Abraham calls this place Hashem Uriel, like Hashem will see and choose what is appropriate for him. And then the angel of Hashem calls Abraham the second time, and he swears to him that because he was willing to listen to the words of Hashem and to sacrifice his son, he's going to get many blessings, and his descendants is going to be like a lot like sand, and all the nations in the world will be blessed because of him. And Abraham went back to his servants, and they all went back together to Be'er-Shava. And lastly, the Torah is telling us that after Abraham went back to Be'er-Sheva, he was told that also his brother Nahor had 8 boys from his wife Milcah, and the Torah is giving us all the names, and he's saying that one of them was Betuel, and Betuel gave birth to Rivka. Also Reumah, which was the concubine of Nahor, she gave birth to 4 boys, and the Torah is saying their names. This is the end of the brief summary of Parashat Vayera. Baruch Adonai Le'olam. Amen ve'amen.